Hey, welcome back to One Seed, One World, everybody. So this is part 2 of building the chicken run. And I know this doesn't look like I'm building a chicken run right now, but what I'm doing is taking off all of this old wire from the garden fence that I am recycling, repurposing to use for the roof of the new chicken run. I had, I don't know, probably like 700 feet of this stuff. Part of it was on the split rail fence that went around our property, but that has now been taken down, and a new privacy fence has been put up to keep the neighborhood dogs out and other issues that we have had in the past. So now the fencing company did take down all that fence for me, and I got rid of most of the wire. I did snag a couple of big rolls of the wire that they took off, but most of it I am using from the garden fence, which I am in the process of been taking down over the last couple weeks. Because, you know, this chicken run should have been done a month ago, and just for different things, whether it was weather not cooperating, I was sick a couple of days, other projects that I had to get to, trying to keep up with the garden, this chicken run is taking me way longer than it should have, but we're getting close. We're getting close. So today I am going through and taking more wire off of this fence because I've used up all that I've taken up already. So let me show you where we're at so far and kind of how I'm doing this. So this is the progress so far. Got all the, or pretty most of the walls all up and done, which I had shown you on the last video. But now I'm also working on the roof. But the front corner up here I have not put in because we still have to roll the chicken coop down in to put up here in this front section. For the roof, I'm just putting cross beams up between posts that I've sunk in the ground in the center. I'm attaching the cross beams with these 2x4 joist hangers, which seems to work pretty well. I felt like that would hold them up there much better than using screws. And this is how the wire is working out. Now, of course, it's the wire, some of the wire I have is only 3 feet wide, and others are 4 feet wide, and I can cut them in varying lengths. But what I'm doing is to attach them, I'm just wiring them together like that, where I just twist the sides together to connect one piece on to the next as I go along. So putting on this roofing wire is not fun, especially with the heat that we've been having here recently. So I try to get out here early in the morning because we do have this part of the area is shaded because of the pine trees until about noon, and then I get 4 hours of direct sun out here before the shade starts coming from the other direction. But I'm doing because the ground slopes away, I'm doing a step down with the roof. It kind of gets lower as it goes, and trying to bring this wire up from one step to the other is kind of difficult being way up here on the ladder. Using this piece as an example, just to show you, I kind of have to be up here and, you know, I'm reaching over and attaching stuff, getting it nailed down or tacked down. I'm using 1/4-inch poultry staples to tack this all on here, and then getting all the wire twisted together to connect each section. So that's really kind of a pain working in sections. Normally I'm doing 3 or 4 foot sections at a time. So as I mentioned on the last video, we're keeping this big lilac bush in here so that it gives the chickens something to go under during the day, and they like the other bushes that we have around the yard. They like going under there and scratching around. But working with putting the wire and the roof up around this bush really took me some figuring on how to position the ladder, because I just have the one ladder that's tall enough to move it around, but I finally worked it out and got the cross beams up and worked out how to get all the wire on there. So that took a little while though. I'm also putting mulch in here, some just natural shredded mulch. There's no dyes or anything in it. Because since this area was all leveled off and scraped down with a bobcat, it was a little rough. As you can see over here, you know, there's like some stones and stuff, and I wanted a nicer base for the chickens to start off with. While we do have some greenery growing back in here, some burdock and little weeds and grass, I wanted to cover the majority of the area with mulch, so that's in process as well. So the coop is going to sit up here between these two posts. I think they're both on the camera, yeah. We'll sit right up here on this leveled out, kind of packed down dirt platform. So it's going to be up here and set right in here. We have to unconnect it from the old coop and then roll it down here on PVC pipes and then get it positioned right in here. So hopefully that will be happening this week, since I'm kind of finishing up getting the walls and most of the roof on. I'm leaving this section open for now until the coop gets in here, and then I'll have to work around and over it to get the rest of the roof covered on. That way the coop will be completely enclosed and we won't have any openings like we had on the old coop. Still working on the door too. I've got the wire screen on the bottom. I haven't finished the top yet. I bought a gate kit which helps support and keep your gate from sagging. It's basically 4 of these metal brackets that tie all of your 2x4s together and keeps it really solid. And then I got a latch on here right now, and so then the door will just open like that. However, I realized after I got this latch on that there's nothing on the inside. And because this is going to be completely enclosed in hardware cloth, if this door ever closed when we were in there, we wouldn't be able to get out. So I got to take this latch off and get one of the double-sided latch so that you can control it from either side, like a normal gate latch that you would have on a fence. So that way we don't get stuck in there. Originally, I was going to build like a little box here that we could, you know, push open and reach through to open it. And I was like, well, that's dumb. I'll just get the correct latch and work with it that way. So that's basically where we're at so far. The one exciting thing that has happened is my additional helper that has been out here several times while I've been building, and that is our resident black snake, Stan Lee. The other morning he was out here when I came out to start working, and I didn't even see him at first, and I was moving some wire around, and I went to reach down, and here he's spread out in this pile of scrap wood. And so I was trying to get him to move along, so I wasn't trying to work around him. But he wasn't being cooperative. He ended up coming all the way down to the back of the coop, or back of the run, which is completely closed off in hardware cloth. And he couldn't get out. You know, he's like banging his head on the side and going all along. And so I'm trying to shoo him along to get him back up to the open areas where he could get out. But every time I got him, you know, I was even using a PVC pipe to try to lift him up and move him along. And then he'd curl around and go back the other direction and kept getting stuck back there. So it took me about 20 minutes, I think. But finally, I was able to lift him up on the pipe and quick run up with him to the door, which was open at the time, and got him to go out. And then he went into the big brush pile in the back. And I think what it is right now we have this big brush pile in the back, along with a big pile of firewood from the maple tree that was cut down. And I think he likes living in those two areas, and he travels back and forth between. And so I think he had come down from the wood pile in the morning and then was trying to get back here, but then couldn't figure it out without some help. So we finally got him back in, and he went down into the brush pile where I'm sure there's some mice and stuff in there that he can eat. Eventually the brush pile is coming out, the wood pile will be coming out, and I think at that point he will move along. We have a big naturalized area behind the privacy fence behind us that covers probably multiple acres, because it runs between us and the big houses way in the back, and runs along this whole section of all of the neighbors' houses both sides. So there's plenty of room for him to live and stuff without being in here. I know that black snakes, some people have problems with those with their chickens because they get into the coop, they eat the eggs. But I don't think, we have never had that issue here. I think because our coop is closed up at night and we have the hardware cloth that's buried in the ground, and this new run is going to be even more solid with that, so there'll be less areas where a snake could get in. I know they can be quite wily and get in through spaces you wouldn't expect, but this will be pretty closed off, and once some of his more brushy areas are gone, I think he won't want to hang around here as much. But he's pretty cool. He's like probably at least 4 feet long. So Stan Lee. So that's it for this update. I know I didn't show a whole, doing really any work today, but I wanted to show you some of the process of where we're at so far. And then I'll do one more final update video on building this chicken run, which will involve moving the coop down here and finishing up the rest of the roofing system. I mean, really this, I call it a roof, but really, a chicken run is just a glorified fence. And I'm using all this chicken wire over the top, or this old garden fence over the top to prevent hawks or owls coming down in here. Now that we have the privacy fence, I'm less worried about neighborhood dogs trying to dig their way in, but I'm still building it very much to the same Fort Knox-ness that I did of the last chicken run with wire buried in the ground, just to prevent any diggers. We do have, possums, raccoons, and skunks out here that we've seen around the yard from time to time, but generally they come out at night, and even if they were to get in here, they wouldn't be able to get into the chicken coop itself because that's locked up at night. And with this wire roof, it doesn't have to support a snow load or anything. It's just simply to keep birds or the predatory birds from swooping down and trying to grab our chickens. So I'm not worried that, just wiring those together, it doesn't have to support any weight. And it will support a little bit of weight. Like I can lay my hammers and stuff up there while I'm up there working. It will support that. I've watched squirrels walk across the top of it, so I know at least can hold that amount of weight. But I'm not worried about like snow load or anything like that. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for stopping by and checking out another video. Please subscribe to our channel. And whatever's going on in your neck of the woods with your build projects, gardens, or whatever it is that you're doing, I hope that everything is going great for you, and we will see you again soon. Have a fantastic day. Namaste.